Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving straight into something really fascinating today. 来自于实验 Life 全yuan 大于水风的教诲和著作, the teachings and writings of Guide Shuifeng. You know, for centuries, humanity has asked some pretty massive questions about the afterlife. But Shuifeng takes a uniquely structural, almost cosmic approach to mapping out the exact locations of heaven and hell. So instead of leaving these realms as kind of vague, cloudy concepts, the cosmology of life's Chuanyuan treats them as literal spatial realities. Get ready to rethink your entire cosmic geography, because we're going to explore exactly where these places are, and, more importantly, how we're actually supposed to reach them. Let's start with a couple of very common sayings. We've all heard them, right? Heaven and hell are in your heart, or heaven and hell are just a thought away. And sure, while they hold a certain poetic wisdom that we've all culturally accepted, Shuifeng's writings argue that relying on these phrases alone can actually really mislead us. They create this comforting metaphor, yeah, but they deeply obscure the actual mechanics of the universe. So let's dive into this central premise. Shuifeng poses a highly logical question here. If heaven and hell are quote-unquote in your heart, well, where exactly is the heart? Like, is it the physical organ pumping blood in your chest? And if it really is just one thought away, why can't we simply have that exact thought right now and instantly appear in heaven? It's a great point. It challenges us to stop accepting vague platitudes and demand a much clearer explanation for the actual mechanics of these realms. There's a really important distinction we need to make here between a metaphorical truth and a literal spatial reality. So while a kind mindset can definitely improve your earthly life, a single positive thought can absolutely avert a fight, and a malicious one can cause a disaster, this is still way too vague to explain the literal cosmic reality of heaven and hell. Being in a good mood doesn't physically transport you to a new dimension, right? Which brings us to Section 1, mapping heaven's exact locations. So if heaven isn't just this warm, fuzzy feeling in your chest, we need to zoom way, way out into the universe to find its exact coordinates. And take a look at the sheer precision here, the number 960. According to the teachings of Life Shanyan, heaven is not some cloudy void. It's made up of specific planetary worlds. Shuifeng actually places the 1,000-year world, which is the first level of heaven, on a specific planet exactly 960 light-years away from Earth. It gives a solid astronomical coordinate to a place we usually think of as purely spiritual. Moving even further out into the cosmos, we find the second tier. The 10,000-year world is located on a planet approximately 3,480 light-years from us. By placing these realms at these incredibly specific light-year distances, this cosmology treats heaven as a literal, physical destination within the broader universe, completely separate from our earthly solar system. And then we reach the ultimate realm. The Elysium world is described as just incredibly vast, literally encompassing the entire earthly universe. Its core, known as the Celestial Islands continent, is located hundreds of millions of light years away. We're talking about cosmic distances that absolutely boggle the mind. It really paints a picture of an afterlife that's deeply intertwined with the staggering scale of astrophysics. Now let's move on to Section 2, the architecture of hell. Having mapped out the distant stars of heaven, let's see how this builds our understanding of the darker realms. Just take a look at the symmetry of Shuifeng's cosmic blueprint here. You can clearly see the direct contrast between the 3 planetary worlds of heaven we just talked about and the 3 distinct non-material layers of hell. The symmetry is what's really fascinating: 3 levels of ascent and 3 levels of descent, forming this complete structural map of life's potential destinations. Now, the crucial point to grasp is that hell isn't some fiery cave underground like you see in classical medieval art. Not at all. According to this text, the fire refining and frozen layers are literal cosmic black holes with very unique structures. Basically, they pull you in. Meanwhile, the netherworld is omnipresent. It's all around us. In this framework, relative to the freedom of the human world, even the plant and animal worlds exist as forms of hell, bound by strict limitations. So hell is basically a non-material trap, both far out in deep space and quite literally right beneath our feet. Moving right along, we have Section 3, the structure of life. Okay, so this brings us to a pretty massive logistical problem. How does a person actually travel to these distant realms or these structural black holes? Well, to understand this, we have to look inward at the non-material structure of life.
Schwessing teaches that grasping this unseen architectural core is the absolute key to understanding how these cosmic realms operate. You can kind of think of it like the spiritual blueprint of a being. It's this non-material structure, deeply tied to your consciousness, that acts as both your vehicle and your compass out there in the universe.
And here is the mechanism that drives the whole shebang: resonance. Every spatial dimension out there, whether it's a planet 960 light years away or a massive black hole, operates on a specific frequency. Think of it exactly like tuning a radio. The specific frequency of your personal, non-material life structure naturally gravitates toward and resonates with the space that perfectly matches it. So you don't take a spaceship to heaven. Your consciousness simply aligns with its frequency, and boom, that is where your life structure is drawn.
Which leads us nicely into Section 4, transforming your consciousness.
Since your spatial destination is entirely determined by your frequency, how do you actually go about changing your tuning? Like, how do you adjust your structure to reach those planets hundreds or thousands of light years away? Well, it requires a very precise, step-by-step chain reaction for personal transformation. First, you must expand your understanding, meaning you really have to learn and grasp the nature of reality. Doing that naturally elevates your thinking. Elevated thinking then transforms your consciousness. That transformed consciousness physically alters your non-material life structure. And finally, once that structure is changed, you ultimately transcend. It's a domino effect, and you absolutely cannot skip a step.
I really want you to take away this profound realization from the text. As long as your non-material structure remains unchanged, you remain fundamentally human. And in this cosmology, the frequency of a human simply does not match the frequency of heaven. Therefore, humans cannot enter heaven. It's as simple as that. Making the transformation into a celestial or Buddha consciousness isn't just some nice spiritual goal to have. It's a structural, physical necessity if you want to survive the cosmic journey.
As we wrap up today's explainer of Life Cheyenne cosmology, I want to leave you with Guide Shufang's final challenge. He basically says to pay close attention to your dreams because they're early indicators of where your consciousness is traveling. So ask yourself, where are your dreams currently taking you? What frequency are you tuning your life to? Are you resonating with the Elysium world or something entirely different? It's a pretty fascinating perspective to ponder as you navigate your own journey. Thanks for joining me today, and keep exploring.